Welcome to Sold Sistas podcast. I'm your girl Latrice.
And I'm Future Davis.
And Cairo's missing today, but she will be here for the next episode. So be sure to tune in.
She better be here for the next episode. Cairo, you better be here for the next episode.
And today we are discussing, drumroll please, why we decided to become full-time real estate agents.
Yeah, I think that's a great topic because neither one of us had the luxury of just jumping into the real estate industry fresh out of high school, like the last episode with Destiny, or even fresh out of college, like Cairo has touched on.
Mm-hmm. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so first let's elaborate on some personal stories as to why we decided to become real estate agents, like why that's a career choice that we made.
I've decided to become a real estate agent. I am like very much, I'll try anything once. I'm that type of person. I was doing realtor work for my best friend at the time. Well, she's still my best friend. For my best friend while she was going through her divorce, looking at houses with her. I gave her the suggestion to sell her home because they were talking very crazy about just walking away, and they had a very beautiful home. So after we wrapped up that chapter and we found her a place that made sense for her and her family, I asked her, like, well, how much did the realtor get paid? And she gave me a number that was not accurate because we don't know, the general public, they typically don't know about the splits and the caps and things like that. So I was like, let me see what's going on. I did some research and saw that I could take a class, and it just went from there. And once I jumped into the real estate industry, I really liked it. I liked it a lot.
So for me, while I was in college, I was also a car salesman or a saleswoman.
That's so funny.
I should say. Yes, I was driving a different car to campus, FAMU. Shout out to the Rattlers out there. But I was driving like a different car all the time, and they were like, are you a drug dealer? And I was like, no, I sell cars. So I would just drive it, and then I had purchased a car from the dealership, and then they were taking forever to work on my car. So I'm like, while y'all working on my car, I'm just gonna drive whatever is on the lot.
Period.
So that happened, graduated, and ended up working for Comcast, doing technical support and sales there. And then from there, I just knew like, okay, I'm getting ready to go into the medical career or medical field or whatever. And I just kept getting drawn back to sales, and I just went and just jumped. So technically like out of college and took the real estate class, passed the class. And then when it came time to actually get like my license going, I was scared. I was like 100% commission. Like,
that scared you?
Yes, it scared me. I was like, oh no. So I ended up going to a career fair, and I got hired on the spot for Rocket Mortgage. And they were like, yes, commission, but you also get like an hourly or salary or whatever. So I was like, real estate 100% or mortgages. And I went the mortgage route. So during the pandemic, I was transitioning, and I was like, okay, where am I going to take my mortgage license? And then it was just something that was just like all these different forbearances were going on. Like there were all these different programs to help people during the pandemic. So I was like, if you're going to do it, it's now or never. Like this is the best time to do it. So I just jumped in full speed ahead and was just like, we got a little nest egg and 401k, like, let's do it. And
the rest is history.
The rest is history.
So yours is still a little bit different from mine because, you were like, okay, you were already in the industry. Like, well, mortgages it's still in the real estate industry. For me, I was doing like a law enforcement job. And
you're arresting bad guys?
Not really arresting bad guys, but keeping bad guys where they're supposed to be. I'm like the silent superhero. I tell everybody I'm keeping the streets safe. But I was selling real estate once I got licensed. It's first of all, that excited me when they said it was 100% commission. Maybe because I had an hourly wage, I was okay with the 100% commission. But that really excited me because it was like, okay, if I work, I should make some money. That's the gist of it, but it's different. Mm-hmm. During the pandemic, I did make the decision. I didn't really make the decision. My husband made the decision for me. I got married in 2020 to 2020. And before we got married, my husband made a comment like, "Well, once we get married, you're gonna quit your job." And I'm like, "I'm not gonna quit my job because we get married. I like my little job." And after we got married, he was the one a few months into us being married. He told me like it's just time for you to let that job go. I think that he got to see firsthand that I was making substantially more money selling real estate, and I was making substantially more money like the last 3 years of me working for the state of Michigan. But I was mean. I was
Yeah.
mean. I was cranky because I was tired because I was working that job doing midnights and then working all day long and then having to go into the job. So I think that's why he truly told me to quit. Number one, he saw I was making good money and I was mean all the time. So he like, Future, I can handle it. Worst case scenario, if something happened where it doesn't work out for you, I got you. That made me feel some sense of comfort. So I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. And I still was confused about quitting and asking all my coworkers what I should do. And Cairo's dad had a conversation with me because him and I worked together. That's how I met Cairo. And he was like, Future, you are always telling everybody else what they need to do and give such great advice. But now it's time for you to take a leap of faith and you acting scared when you already know you got what it takes. You are already doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And I cried like a baby and I quit my job and went full time. How was that first year for you of being a full time agent?
It was very educational. Um, I started out the gate, luckily, because I think because I was already in the industry, I had friends and family members that felt confident with working with me versus like, oh, she don't know what she's doing. Like they know I had been closing deals. I had been helping people with their mortgages and things of that nature. So I had referrals. Like as soon as I announced I had my license, I had 3 closings within like, I don't know,
That's awesome. That's a blessing.
like the first, like I think I got my license in April. I had 3 closings in June. So we were already under contract,
Right.
in May. So I was just like, oh yeah, I love this. And then reality hit me and it was just like, because people come over to real estate thinking like, oh, it's gonna be easy. I can make my own hours. I get to dictate my schedule. I'm not gonna have to work hard. I'm just gonna work smart and I'm gonna have a work-life balance. But as we know, you get out of real estate what you put into it. So
Right.
if you don't work, you don't make any money. And there was a month where there were no leads. And it was just like, oh, wait. Cause you get that first $16,000 check, you're like, oh
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
it's
racking
gonna keep
stack.
it's gonna keep doing that.
Right.
But no, if you don't work, you're not making money. So
No.
it was a learning experience for me. It was a learning curve because I got to see the roller coaster that could be real estate. And I was just like, no, we can't do that. Mm-mm.
I already had my business pretty much established. That's why I was like insane that I was so reluctant to quit my job because I had already established myself as a realtor. That's how you met me. I was working my real estate business like a
Mm-hmm.
full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a situation where I left my job and I had to
Learn
find
something
my
new.
footing in real estate. It was just like now I can focus all my time and energy into real estate. And it paid off. The year the year prior to me quitting my job with the state, I made like $125,000
And
selling
just
real
real estate.
estate,
Okay.
just selling real estate. That next year, I made $240,000, where it was like I almost doubled what I made from the previous year. So it just let me know, like, I probably should have been quit my job. I was really selling myself short. But when I was able to really focus on real estate, the sky was the limit.
So that's so funny because that was the next topic: overcoming fears and uncertainties about leaving a stable job. So for me, I know I've had probably the most conversations with my husband just because he's always been like the person I can vent to
Right.
about my experiences, in real estate and being your own entrepreneur or your own employer. And I don't know, like even in the midst of like ups and downs, like I never was like, oh no, I'm about to go get a job, or I'm like, if anything, it just pushed me and motivated me to just go harder.
No,
Like
for real.
I never want to punch anybody else's clock. I never want to ask for permission. If I want to go on a trip with any family or friend, I don't need anybody to tell me. Or I mean, obviously, I can talk to my husband about it, but
Right.
I don't have to ask somebody to use PTO. Like I never see myself ever wanting to do that like ever again. So
I think it took for me to get my freedom paper. No, to get it took for me to, have some freedom to really appreciate the freedom that real estate has brought to me and my
Mm.
family. It's a double-edged sword for me because
Go ahead.
I work a lot and I do what I need to do to make sure I get the important things done, especially like when I commit to somebody, like, we have committed to doing this. So I probably had a little bit more free time when I worked. But it hit different because the free time that I have now is just more meaningful to me,
Mhm.
because when I'm not free, I'm working for myself and I'm
Mhm.
doing something for myself. And although I do work a lot, I guess, it's different. It's like
Mhm.
when you can't take off, it feels hard, it
Yeah.
feels like a lot. It feels like really
When somebody's
agonizing when
telling you.
somebody is telling you can't do something versus when you can do it. Now it's like you don't even really feel the need to. It's crazy.
Mhm.
It's like a mental thing.
I love it. I love it. Even when it comes to like family calling me like, "Hey, what you doing?" I'm like, "I'm working." You at the office? Like, no, I'm at home, but I'm still working.
Right.
Oh, can you come and do this and that? Not until I finish working. Like,
Right.
so it's like, yeah, it's still work, but it's something to better myself.
That
It's something for
yeah.
me versus doing it to build somebody else's empire. And we talked about that the other day when I told you about when I met Zane, and she was like, oh, you would spend 40 hours working on somebody else, pursue their dream and ambitions, but you won't dedicate 4 hours to yourself, and
Right.
that's something that's common with a lot of people. Even people that do work for an employer, they're tired. So when they get home, they're not putting in that time for their
Right.
own business. And now it's just, that's all you have is your business, because you don't work for anybody else. So I love it. I
I
love
think that
it.
really served me though, because I really my first 2 years were rocky. So my first year was not like your first year, Latrice. I enjoyed my first year, but I didn't you made close to $100,000. I maybe closed like 5 deals my first year. Maybe I made like $25,000. That second year, I think I maybe closed a deal. And like we discussed before, real estate is an expensive hobby. And
Mm-hmm.
I was broke. I was broke. So I had to have a conversation with God about what I was going to do. And once I made the commitment that third year that I was going to fully commit to real estate, I fully committed. And that meant that I was not going to allow the state of Michigan to make me put my business second or on the back burner. If I got mandated and I worked 16 hours and I had homes to show, I got off and I showed homes. If I was expecting Latrice to call me about some paperwork that was needed, I was going to pick up that phone. So, I was burning the candle at both ends, but I committed to my business. That was not something that I struggled with once I decided that this was something I was going to be serious about, and it paid off. It pays off. So for those of you who are dual agents and have not decided, or just doing dual career and trying to start any type of business, it will pay off if you commit to taking that extra time and working on your business outside of what you do for someone else's business.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the steps you took to prepare financially. So obviously, Michael told you got to pick one or the other, right?
Yeah.
So what steps did you take to prepare financially and emotionally for that transition into being a full-time real estate agent?
I didn't really take any steps.
You just said,
Now
I
I can
got
tell
this.
you
I'll
what
figure
steps
it
that
out.
you should take, but I didn't really take any steps. Subconsciously, I think that I started putting a little bit more money into my 401k because it's sad to say, but I was not like the best saver at that time.
Mhm.
This was the first time in my life where I was making tens of thousands of dollars, and I was taking my kids out of town. I was buying all the things, but I did commit to like just putting like the max into my 401k. So when I left my job, I did have like a nice cushion that I was able to. I should have been transferring it over to another account, but this grown-up future talking, and that was a younger future where it was like,
Mhm.
okay, I got this, but I didn't really even need it. I ended up, that's another story, but I was making good money. So I felt confident because I knew I had that money in my 401k. But like I said, I was making good money.
Mhm.
I was making like $15,000 a month when I quit that job selling real estate.
So you already had the nest
Yeah, I
egg
was good.
established.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say it's definitely important to have savings established, especially if you're going to make that leap and become a full-time real estate agent, because real estate, most of your transactions could take anywhere from 15 to 30 days to close. So if you are check to check or waiting on that deal to close or counting money before you get it,
Oh, we've all done that.
that's a whole nother episode. Um, and then deals, sometimes things happen, transactions get canceled, and then that money that you thought you were about to get, you don't get. So I would say having a cushion is very important, and I think that's what made it a little more stress free for me, was knowing that we had enough to pay our mortgage and, you know, take care of whatever expenses we had. Because if we didn't, then you could be like the statistics. You know, a lot of people start in real estate and they end up quitting. So
Yeah,
I think that's huge.
yeah, you have to prepare, because even though I did not have like, well, I saved $50,000 before I quit, or I had 6 months worth of my bill saved up. I'm keeping it real. Like, I had money in my 401k. I have a husband who makes pretty good money. I had deals in my pipeline that I knew were going to close. So I did not just quit my job blindly, and I would not suggest that for anyone. Before I knew I wanted to quit, but I was not married, and I had really good benefits with the state, and I have two children, two biological children, and I always had to think about my children first. Like, I did not feel comfortable as a single woman with two children leaving my job, taking away their health insurance, to see, even when I was making decent money, to see if everything was going to work out. So I made sure that I felt confident as a mother first, and then as a wife, and then as a business owner, to quit my job to pursue real estate full time.
So would you say 6 months reserves is like a good cushion if you're starting off, especially as a brand new agent that doesn't necessarily maybe have the experience or know exactly what it's going to take to close that first deal?
Yeah, I think that you should have 6 months saved up, bare minimum, bare minimum 3 months saved up. And with that 3 months, you need to make sure that you take time to pay off like any unnecessary debt. If you have that type of job where you work in a certain profession where you can make some extra money, or just budget better and pay off unnecessary debt, where you can minimize what you have to pay, that will help you too. I think that'll be a great idea.
So what advice would you give to those navigating the early stages of real estate? So any challenges that maybe were lessons learned for you? So within the first few months or even the first few years, like things that they can prepare for.
You gotta educate yourself. You gotta be like a sponge and willing to learn as much as you can about this industry. And it is an ever changing industry. We're going through some changes right now. So you cannot, I see so many agents get their license, and they will not, like, they pass the test and they won't do any, like, they won't do anything that is going to help them grow as an agent, or read any books, or take any classes or any courses. Like, you cannot do that. And they'll just lean on like their team lead or the broker, or sometimes the agents around them. And it's okay to ask your broker, ask your team lead if you're on the team, or ask the agents around you for support. Like, we support each other, but you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to put in that time so you can grow as an agent. I think that's very important.
There are so many different trainings. And then, you know what I didn't even recognize was, I've had agents sign up to take the real estate class, and they ask me questions, and I'm like, how did you even know about that? And they're like, oh, I was watching videos on YouTube. Like, there's so many resources.
Right.
So even outside of whatever brokerage you may join, or whatever online training, Zoom trainings, in-person trainings they have, there's a wealth of knowledge, even like on YouTube, that you can help make you a better agent.
And that's going to help you just to have that mindset of wanting to work, because that's number two. Like, you have to be relentless. You can't come into this industry as a new agent and pity pat. I don't care if you have the best team lead in the world, the best broker in the world. You should definitely align yourself with someone who can guide you and help you grow. But you gotta go full throttle, and you gotta do or die about this business if you want to be successful, especially when you're trying to convince the world that you are capable and that they should trust you with one of the biggest transactions of their lives.
Right. So you answered a lot of the next question, which was key strategies and tips that helped you early on or help you succeed. I would say, just to kind of piggyback off what you mentioned, tapping into your sphere of influence is very important, because they say what the average person knows 7 people that are going to close on a transaction. So a lot of times you don't know until you see somebody you know on Facebook closing, and you're like, they didn't know, but did you tell them that you were a realtor?
Right.
So I think that's huge. Just making sure everybody knows that you're a real estate agent,
and constantly letting everybody know that you're a real estate agent. I remember I thought I was gonna do eyebrows. I flew down to Atlanta to take a course and did like a 24 hours. She's like a good brow girl, like a top one of the top brow girls in Atlanta. And we were talking because I really feel like my first calling is like motivational speaker or like life coach. And she was kicking it with me about, she don't want to, she does, man, she the truth now to this day. And that was years ago. She doesn't want to post too much because she doesn't want to aggravate her followers. And she doesn't want to, and I'm like, yo, whoever is for you is for you. Nobody's gonna be mad at you for like posting and constantly repeating that you have this or that going on or this deal or you offer this service. And I say that to say like you have to like make sure that you are very loud about your business. You cannot come into this industry a secret agent. A lot of the people who come, seriously, who join my team, I'll talk to like, you called this person? Well, I called them and they didn't pick up the phone. And they didn't call me back. And I'm like, well, did you call them again? Well, I don't want to keep calling. It's just like, if somebody doesn't want you to call their phone, they'll block you or they'll tell you not to call their phone. Or they'll be like, well, I don't want to keep texting. I'm going to tell a story until I die. Marina, I called text that lady for 6 months. And the 6 months she bought a house in Metro Detroit. Like, you got to be relentless and you have to.
And people remember you.
Yeah, you have to scream from the mountaintops. Like, I sell real estate and be relentless about it.
So in addition to tapping into your sphere of influence, I will also say it's important to build a network or find mentors. Like I know coming in initially, Future used to check in on me all the time. Who are you talking to? What do you got going on? I think it's important to have an accountability partner or somebody that's going, until you can get to a point where you can hold yourself accountable or be responsible for yourself. You want to have somebody that aligns with you and whatever your goals are and can help push you to achieve those.
Yeah, I agree. And you will always have somebody holding you accountable. Next year, I'm going on my 11th year in real estate. And now I'm in that space where I definitely have agents. Latrice hold me accountable. I have business partners that hold me accountable. And I'm even in that chapter of my business where I'm paying for people to coach me and hold me accountable just to make me a better team lead, just a powerhouse in this industry.
So let's tap into work-life balance. We touched on it a little bit, but that was one of the things I think that was a misconception for me diving into this. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this because then, unlike the mortgage industry where I was working a lot of times 80 hours a week, and it's crazy saying that now. Like, right. When did you have time to live? Like you making all this money to like not really get to enjoy it, or I don't know. I'm sure the experience is different for different folks, but what would you say about now being a full-time real estate agent, managing that career? Like, how do you manage it and have that balance between being a woman, a wife, a mother, and a team lead?
I'm going to contradict something I said a little bit earlier about when I was working a job and, I felt like I had a little bit more time. It was a little bit more structured time. But I think that we gonna have to like have a therapy session with me about like my work-life balance because no, seriously, when we take it back, Latrice, when I got my job with the state of Michigan, I was going to school full time. And then once I stopped going to school full time, I got into the master's program. So I was going to school full time and getting my master's degree. And then at one point I was getting my master's degree, wrapping that up, working for the state, working overtime, and I was selling real estate. So all of my adult years, I have just been trained to go where it's just like, really, if I'm doing one thing at a time,
you're not happy.
I'm not happy and I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And it's a term for that. A guy at my job before I quit, we talked about it. But like even now, you got to think about it. Like I have a team of a 14.
I think it's like a type A. It's like type A versus type B personality. And I think it's type A. I can't remember. I took psychology a very long time ago, but that's what it kind of sounds like.
But like I got a team, I got a tenant. I'm trying to buy another house right now. If you get a deal, let me know. I'm like ready to buy another house right now. Okay. I have ownership in the title company. It's just like I always have a lot going on. I try to make sure I have time for you guys around me, but really work has been like trumping everything. And my husband had to bring it to my attention that he felt like he was number two to my I'm fidgeting. He felt like he was number two to my business. Like, it's real estate first and then everything else. And I understood where he was coming from. I did not feel like that. Like that's not how I wanted the people around me to feel. I felt like I was working to put myself in a better position to leave legacy for my children. And as far as work life balance, I don't have any work life balance. I really, that was just me copping a bunch of pleas. I am working I am working on it now. I do make sure that when I spend time with my children, with my friends, with my family, it is meaningful time and we have a great time together. And what I have done is just pulled everybody I really like into the industry. So I work with everybody that I really care about
Yeah.
for the most part. Not everybody, but a lot of the people I really love and enjoy spending time with, they are realtors or work in the real estate industry.
I think it's definitely something that you have to organize and prioritize in terms of, so even with me, like I have certain days where it's just like, these are the days I'm dedicated to showing and working, or working on credit, working on mortgages, working on, because like you said, we do so many
We do a
different
lot.
things.
We do a lot.
So I'll say, okay, this day is going to be dedicated to that. And then I'll try and say, okay, well, this day is going to be Ashton's day, where he's not going to sit or anything. And he's just going to have mommy and son time because
That's awesome.
it's something that's important to me. But I mean, I'm still answering the phone on those days too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, so that's the beauty in being in this, is it's not like I have to dedicate a full 8 hours
Right.
where I can't be available to him. Like, yeah, I can watch a little show with you and then I can go run and go pull some credit real quick,
Right.
And then get somebody pre-approved or whatever. So I still think it's still the option to have that balance.
Yeah.
We just got to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. And we're constantly working on like the work-life balance aspect of it. I do have a goal though, and that will excite you. I'm 36. By the time I'm 40, I want to have full control of my time. Like that is my goal. So it's not like I'm just working indefinitely, because I feel like sometimes that's what you might think. Like future is just
I'm so proud of you.
a robot.
That's
No,
huge.
it's not.
I can see that though.
Yeah, I work hard because I knew like 65 is not the cutoff for me. Like I want, and I'm still gonna work. I'm still gonna have my team. I'm putting systems in place just to make sure that I am working smarter and not harder. But I want full control. You get what I'm saying, because you're in this space. Like I have control over my time, but I want full control over my time by the time I'm 40.
So you want to be like Grant Cardone? You want to be flying in your private jet?
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Like I want to be able to have full control over my time, and that's why I'm trying to put in this work, and that's why I'm trying to put these pieces in place. But I think that we both can say very proudly that we have the right spouses, the right family, where we have that room to figure out the work-life balance thing. And when Nick know you're not at home and Michael know that I'm missing in action, that we are doing something that can potentially propel us forward.
Exactly. That's very important.
That's very important. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for my children. I'm so grateful for my husband. I'm just so grateful for the people around me being so supportive and understanding of this little brown girl from Highland Park trying to
do some things,
some big things.
So I'm going to try and tap into a couple of things real quick. Assessing the decision. How would you evaluate your decision to go into real estate full time?
I wish I would have done it sooner. It's easy for me to say, like, I wish. In my mind, I'm like, I wish when I graduated from high school, I would have got my bachelor's degree, because I was a first generation college graduate. So that was important to me. Being a teen mom, I want my kids to know, like, whatever you want to do, you can be successful. So that I would have gotten that, but I would have never. Do you see the disgust on my face? I would have never went and got my master's degree. Bare minimum, I would have got my real estate license after that, and made that quick transition. It wouldn't have been I didn't leave the state until I was about 5 years into selling real estate. That's why my business was established the way it was. I would have left like year 2.
And we are not encouraging people to drop out of college. I just want to say that.
No, I said I would have got my degree. I would have got my bachelor's. I wouldn't have got that master's.
One thing that kind of tickled me a little bit, like going into Quicken, right? And I'm working alongside with 18-year-olds, and we're having $10,000, $20,000 months. And I'm like, they're making the same amount of money as me, but I have a degree, like, and student loan debt, and they're just free as a bird.
Exactly.
Debt free. And I'm like, and I'm not saying that to discourage anybody, but it's frustrating. It is a little frustrating.
I'm gonna give a silent plug, because I feel like that's our responsibility as the older generation, for maybe some of the younger people that may be tapping in, or even people who are confused. Go to school. get the degrees, but make sure that that degree is going to work for you or is something that you are extremely passionate about. Don't fall into the mindset of, I got to go to college and get a degree, and that is what's going to establish you as an adult, because that's not it. You have to make sure that you get the right degree.
Somebody told me the other day, they were like, it's not to use your degree. Like, you don't go to school to use your degree. You go to school to get the life skills that you need for whatever it is that you're going to do.
I agree with that.
So I could
Yeah,
agree with
I
that.
agree with that. But do you think that if you had better guidance in regards to going to college, you would have made some different decisions?
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. Like, I would have definitely gotten a degree. And to even say I wouldn't have got my master's, that's not to say I wouldn't have gotten a higher education. I would have went to law school. If I was going to go to school for another, it took me 4 years to get my master's degree because I was a single mom, full-time parent, and working full-time, and like I said, selling real estate at the end of that. But I wouldn't have went and got my master's. If I would have had the right guidance, the right encouragement, somebody mentoring me, I would have just went to law school because that was something I felt like I could have been passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so real quick, success stories. Highlight some of your successful deals or a milestone that reaffirms your career choice to go full time into real estate.
I'm gonna give a couple because I think it's important for me to. When I quit my job, I did my first flip with Danny and Andrea. We did a flip together. And in the course of us doing that flip, we were just having conversations just regularly because we were discussing the flip and what needed to be done to the house. And we all got together and set a goal to make $25,000 a month. And at the time I was making about $14,000. And I was nervous. I remember walking into Home Depot committing to the goal of making 25,000. And when I made a commitment, I did what I was supposed to do and just made sure I had the behaviors to reach that $25,000 every month. That made me feel good, but this made me cry. I remember coming over to EXP, and you have Icon. Mm-hmm. So I got over to EXP like the month before my cap started over. The Peterson Jackson, Tawana and LaShawn started talking to me about Icon. Like, you gonna hit Icon? It seemed like you should be close. They started pushing me. I was close, but I was not close enough. So I thought. I worked my ass off to hit Icon, and in the course of me just trying to hit Icon, that's the one I made that $53,000. So that I cried when I made that $53,000 because it just showed me like
what you're capable of,
what I am capable of. I worked hard, but it wasn't back-breaking work. Like, it's mental. It's a lot of mental work that we do, but it just showed me like what I was capable of doing. That those were like two of the big things for me, and even me being successful with my team. Like, my team is small. I am looking to grow it. So if you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to join the team, the Elevated Collective is hiring. But even with my team being 14, 15 strong at all times, I know we were in the top 10 in the total state of Michigan, like the complete state of Michigan for teams. And we stay within like the top 15 of the entire state of Michigan with team sales. So, it's always little things that keep me going.
So I think that setting goals and having milestones are huge. I remember when Tawana tagged me in a post, #1 EXP real estate agent, right?
Yeah.
And that was after I closed that commercial deal for like $5 million. So
proud. We were supposed to do something with that.
We still can. But I was so excited because I didn't even know. Like, I was just go, just trying to do everything that I could to try to hit these numbers and these goals that I had set for myself personally.
Right.
And then I was just like, wait, like, I'm the #1 realtor in all of Michigan. Yes. And it was just like, when you have your head down, you don't even realize how hard you are going. So having goals is very important. And then before we come to a close on this episode, I want to talk about creating a brand. And I'm gonna just tell my story real quick. So once I had started thinking about like, okay, what do I want my brand colors to be? What do I want my logo to look like? I actually reached out to somebody that's real big on social media for like a brand consultation, and I paid. And he like went through my Instagram page, he went through my bio, and it was just like, you need to change this, you need to do this, you need to do that. I think that kind of made me take my business even more seriously.
Right.
Like once you establish a brand and you know who you are and what you want to embody, I think that separates you from just being a regular realtor.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm the money girl. Like money moves me. So if you think about it, like with me, if you like think back to like even 2020, and I have been in the game for a little while. I ain't really have. It was just like future sale. You know, everybody know I sell real estate, and I guess I established myself by posting on social media and making the post showings and inspection day. But I'm just catching up with the team has really held me accountable. Like I got a little razzle dazzle done with the branding, but the team has really held me accountable with getting like my brand together. Cause I just be like, I'm like, how much money did I make?
So I think even you have gotten on me about this because I went to school, like for my MBA, my concentration was marketing. So it's always just been like, I'm always having thoughts.
Yeah.
So like Future has gotten on me, even like when we've had closings together and I'm like, Future, come on, we about to take a picture. Content. And she's just like, I don't want to take a picture.
I just want my check. Like you have humbled me and you have helped me. Tawana and LaShawn, I'm gonna shout out to Tawana and LaShawn because they are the number of women. They will let you know because I'll be like, oh, I hit I was in the top 10. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. They always let me know, like, oh, Future, you hit a milestone. And like they told you, so I do appreciate that from them. But I just work. You know what I'm saying? Like I just work. I know that money hit. So I know I'm doing something.
But you did. Okay. So we know we sell what you call it, propositions, our value propositions are. I think that's really the biggest thing is actually being able to back it up. Like
that has served me.
To say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take care of you. And then your clients know, that they can count on you to take care of them. Like I told you, my client the other day, like your word is all you have.
Right.
So I think that's huge. But one thing that you did do that maybe you don't recognize is that you were very big about going on Google and collecting reviews, getting that social proof. So I think that has to do with branding too.
And even like looking at you and looking at Cairo, because Cairo helped me. You've helped me too, because you are very loud and proud about your business. And Cairo is very clean, and you are clean too. You know what I'm saying? But hers was out the gate. It was like, all right, we progressing. We trying to figure this thing out. Mm-hmm. That has helped me with my branding for my marketing, and I appreciate it because I'm not gonna be fake. Like now, everybody who thinks about me thinks like Future's gonna be super cute. She's super professional. She's a go-getter, and I carry myself that way, and I make sure when I'm out and about, I try to hold fast to that, like stand fast to that, make sure that I am consistently who I am supposed to be and who I am every time I'm out and about. And like you said, when you are working with agents and working with clients, just making sure you walk it like you talk it.
Okay, so one last topic and then we're done with this episode. I think this is something we can't finish this episode without: handling uncertainty. So how do you stay resilient and adaptable in the face of this ever-changing market, like all these market fluctuations, rates, all the things?
Me personally, I have a relationship with God, and I try to make sure I spend my time throughout the day in the morning having conversations with God. And really for me, it's just like trying to honor myself and being obedient to the ideas that are given to me. You just got to trust yourself, and you have to know that when you are entering into something that is unfamiliar, that you have to give yourself the grace to grow and to learn. Because even with not just, with the podcast, me and Latrice talked about this. Latrice and Cairo talked about this for a year before we have gotten to a place where we have been being consistent. And it was scary because I want the video to look a certain type of way. I want to look a certain type of way. I'm a girl. I need to lose a little weight before. And it's just like, no, just do what you say you're going to do and be confident and do your best and just grow from there. Mm-hmm. So don't wait until everything is perfect. Like, pull that confidence from somewhere. If you have a relationship with God, just lean on God, lean on the people around you, your core people that's around you, your friends, your family, and just do what you say you're going to do responsibly.
And then even if it is moments where it's slow, use that time to learn and to grow and network. I have a relationship with God as well, and I don't care. I'm just like, I just feel like he always gonna make a way.
For
Like he always
real.
gonna figure it out. Like, let me go ahead and pay these tithes, and somehow everything is gonna work itself out.
No, seriously, God has never forsaken me throughout my life, but even in this business, because I talk like, I've made this and I made 55 and I made 80, but it has not always been that way. I talked about in the past episode where my husband got the job and he was traveling and my business got slow and I was making 10, 20,000. Well, I was at that point, I was making like 25,000. And then I had that month where I made $2,700. And it's just like,
Yeah, I remember.
yeah. And I've had months where it has gotten slow. And it's just like, you got to lean on your friends, you got to lean on your faith, and you got to do the work. But just do it. You hear it all the time. Do it scared. If you are uncertain, do some research. Do what you need to do to find the confidence and do it.
So, real quick, some quick takeaways from this episode. I would say,
okay, Latrice then handed me her paper, but I'm gonna give y'all the takeaways. The takeaways is make sure that you are comfortable when you are leaving your job. Once you decide that you're going to go into this industry full time, if possible, make sure you are financially prepared because you need time to establish yourself as a realtor and to close some deals. And like she said, it can take anywhere from 15 to 45 days to close a deal. You want to make sure that you are setting goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals, long-term 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and make sure you are keeping track of your wins and the milestones, because those things will keep you going. And do it scared. If you're scared, get informed if you are not informed, and then do it. Do it scared and just get it done.
and tap in and learn.
Yeah.
So, thank you so very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us for more insight. Be sure to follow us at Sold_Sisters on Instagram or on YouTube at Sold Sistas. Be sure to tap in and follow us and comment below and let us know what other topics you want us to talk about.
Right. Oh, and if you resonate with one of us or both of us, you can follow us at our on our business pages. At your mine's is at your YOUR Realtor Future,
And I'm at I called LP. That's ICALLED LP.
and we're always open to constructive criticism because we are growing. We talked about growth. Tune in, and if you have any suggestions, leave a comment.
Thank you.